Hello, welcome back to the channel. This is the second video dedicated to my speakers project. You will see the completion of this exciting project as well as some final measurements and performance tests. So enjoy and thank you very much for your attention. Just a quick recap on the whole construction process. Here you can see the two speakers being painted. Here you can see the two speakers with the front cover open. You can see the previous release of the crossover. Here you can see the two speakers almost completed. The left one has the gray fabric in front of it. The right one is just waiting for that. And here the final view of the two speakers completed. Since the last video, I made some little bit of changes on the crossover design. The main change is an adjustment of the cutoff frequency for the high pass section, so the section which feeds the tweeter. I have lowered a little bit the cutoff frequency. I have found that this brings an improvement in the sound if compared to the previous version. As you can see, they are different. The two frequencies are slightly, I would say, different. I have found that this brings to the best sonic results. You can still see the notch filter in the tweeter section, which attenuates the frequency around 12 kHz, as I have found that the tweeter exhibits a peak on that frequency. Also, you still see the smoothing resistors on the woofer section and on the tweeter section. Finally, the 4.7 ohm resistor on the in the tweeter section attenuates the tweeter because the tweeter has a much higher sensitivity than the woofer. After the changes I have implemented on the crossover design, here is the final frequency response, which was measured with the microphone at 1 meter from the speaker. You see the two peaks on the bass response. Let's say the two peaks are at 60 and at 120 hertz. These are due to the environment, are not due to the speaker. So a pretty linear frequency response, but what's most important, there was an improvement on the sound of the speakers after the changes I have spoken before. This is the plot of the impedance against the frequency, and as you can see, this is the typical behavior of a sealed enclosure system with just one peak on the bass frequencies. This peak is at about 45 Hz, which is the resonance frequency for the speaker, and we have, of course, another peak at centered at around 2000 Hz. The impedance never goes below 7.9 ohms. So I believe this speaker is an easy load for the amplifier. Finally, here you can see the spectrogram as measured from the speaker. On the horizontal axis you can see the frequency from 20 Hz to 20 kHz, of course. In the vertical axis you can see the time in milliseconds. This spectrogram gives an idea about the decay in time from an impulse. So it gives an idea of how well the system handles the sounds, the music in time, how well the system is damped, I would say. As you can see, the behavior is pretty much ideal, I would say. Everything falls within 200 milliseconds. So no ringing, just with just exception around 60 hertz, which I believe is due to the environment and not due to the speaker itself.